I'm back with another What's on My Mind, and today's episode is a little deep, so I wanted to keep on theme with that, and this is something that's actually been on my mind a little deep about like the fact that milestones, not achieving them or getting to them or what are considered life milestones shapes you just as much as achieving milestones does. And we get into a little bit of what milestones looks like and what success can look like, and even when it comes to personal reflection and what you want out of life and family and all of those things. We hit on that in this episode. But I just wanted to send a friendly reminder because I think it's so easy. We hit on this too during the episode about like social media being more of a highlights reel and getting all the success that you're seeing everyone achieve, and everyone announcing kids and everyone announcing a new job and everyone sharing all these positive things that are happening in their life on social media. And I just want to remind everyone that not achieving things is also shaping you. So while I know that like it might be hard waiting for something, it's in that you also get to see so tremendous growth, sometimes even more growth than when you aren't achieving things. And it's on my mind because it's honestly been such a big reflection for me this year. I did hit on it during my Q&A episode a little bit, but I did just want to send that friendly reminder because we get so deep into it in this episode about what we expected or what we thought you could want one day, and it changing when you're faced with a big mirror, a reflection of thinking about what do you actually want and being faced with that mirror and having a more of an understanding of what you might want out of life. And I think like that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it all. That's the beauty of milestones of life. And that's what's been on my mind. If anyone's been feeling that, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've been reflecting on that as well, if any of this resonates with you, or if there's anything that we talk about in this episode that might hit home. I would love to hear it. So let's get right into it. I'm really excited to have Grecia Lopez with me. She is a dear friend and someone I've been very excited to have on the pod one day. And here we are. So let's get right into it. Grecia.
Hey, Tati.
Hi.
We made it.
We did. You're finally on.
I know. Congratulations. It's a beautiful space.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
And it always feels so weird when you have like industry friends or friends come on the pod because it's like you're introducing them, but you also feel like it feels at home a little, like we're just catching up at an event.
I know. I'd love to see you grow. So to be able to come here and see down to the T in the flesh, I'm like, okay.
You've been having a big year too.
Okay, production.
You've been killing it.
We both have.
Inspiring.
Happy to share the spaces with you too.
So thank you for being here.
Of course.
And I'm going to... You're a friend of the pod. You're also a friend of mine, but we're also going to introduce you correctly. You are a Latina reporter, host, and producer who's pushing the Latin voice forward through creator journalism and beyond.
Yes.
Which she truly, truly is, y'all. Like, if you're not following Grecia, you're missing out on a lot of inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you. I try my best. I try my best.
Yeah. And you're showing people that, like, you really, truly can be a voice for a community. Because sometimes it can feel scary and you want to jump into the mainstream, and, like, you're showing that there is success.
Definitely.
In like Latin storytelling.
Definitely.
As well.
I think more than ever, especially with like the current political climate in the country, it's more important to use your voice as a Latina, as a first generation, and as a following.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I'm in like this weird space, and you and I have talked about it before, where it's like I want to continue sharing like the highs of my career, but with the political climate, it's like how much happiness do I really want to share when the reality is our community is suffering.
Yeah.
So, but we have to find the happy medium, because after all, as first generation Latinas, we have worked our butts off to be in these spaces, to have your podcast, to be able to live stream stuff. So it's like just finding a balance of like, okay, this is what I'm doing because I've worked my butt off, but also, by the way, this is what our community is suffering.
It's going through. Yeah. And being honest about that. So let's get right into the starting 5 questions. What's your go-to TV show when you're emotionally tapped out?
Oh my gosh, that is such a good question. I have a few.
Okay.
First and foremost, Sex and the City.
Okay.
I love a good Gary Bradshaw.
I have that in my rotation too.
Love it. I've seen all.
Wait, did you say you love Carrie Bradshaw?
Love Carrie Bradshaw. I know. That's a bit
controversial.
I know. It's crazy because she gets so much hate because she was actually like the other woman and all that stuff.
She was a little problematic, okay?
See, I think you go through your emotions. It's like at first you hate her and you're like, oh my God, I love her. And I'm like, you know what? I've always been a Carrie Bradshaw stan.
Okay.
So, and especially with like the the influence of like wanting to be a reporter back in those days, where it's like you can live comfortably off of one column. Like that's not the reality anymore.
The reality. She really fooled us.
But now that like you have a point, it is a little bit controversial because now that we're older and we see how she really was with Natasha and with Big, you're like, girl, get it together.
Yes, especially that cringe scene where she like goes to see like sits down at the table with Natasha there. Natasha's
Towards
just
the
like,
end,
leave
she's
me
like,
alone.
leave me alone.
Like, just leave me
alone.
alone.
I knew that was you in the apartment.
Yeah.
And thanks to you, I broke my nose.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
like,
it's
just
cringy.
leave me alone.
But hey, man, we love Carrie Bradshaw. We love Sex and the City. Friends is also a really good one.
Yeah.
Love Friends. So it's more of like 90s, early 2000s shows.
Yeah.
More recently, I just binge watched a really good show on Apple TV. It's called Bad Sisters.
Ooh.
I don't want to spoil it, but it is so good, and it really opened up my eyes as a creator and a consumer for television, for Ireland productions. It made if you want to see what Ireland looks like, watch Bad Sisters on Apple TV. It's gonna make you want to book your next vacation there.
Okay, I'm gonna do that this week.
It's really good. It's I don't want to spoil it, but it's like 5 sisters, murder, suspense, money, drama. It's so good. Watch it. It's so good.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So notes app or group chats? You have to show one. Which are you sharing?
Oh, shoot. I'll do my notes app.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. I'm like,
no, I'm not saying you have to show me. I'm saying if someone was like publicly,
I was like, let's do
you
notes.
have to you have to expose one to the world.
You know what? Notes, because that's where I have my thoughts and I can take accountability because those are my thoughts and that's what I write.
Yeah.
Versus group chats, you don't really know what your friends are writing in there.
She's doing the responsible thing.
I'm like,
I'm not going to expose.
I'll take accountability for what is in my notes.
Okay. So the emoji you overuse when you're pretending you're fine.
The happy face.
I do the upside down one.
I do the happy face that has the 2 hands. I'm like, yeah.
If you get that from Grecia, she's pretending to be fine.
When I'm fighting with my boyfriend, I'm like, sure. Whatever you say.
What's a pop culture hill that you'll die on?
A pop culture hill that I will die on. Oh my goodness.
Honestly, you started with one, but let's think of a new one.
I mean, shoot, Carrie Bradshaw to the death of me, honestly. I have so many Carrie Bradshaw quotes and shoes thanks to her. A pop culture hill that I will die on. I need to know if the hills was real or fake. I need to know because you're wrapped into all this drama. And then towards the end, I remember the final episode of The Hills, they like pan out and they're in a studio.
Yes.
And you're in a studio lot. And you're like, was this scripted or unscripted?
Yeah. I think it was fake because after I saw that interview with Lauren, with Kristen and Steven, where they talked about how fake Laguna Hills was and Laguna Beach, I said the Hills. They were actually not even like interested in Steven. Like they weren't even hooking up with Steven and they were making Steven like the guy. Like they were hooking up with that other guy that started growing on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That's
really?
the plot.
I hate that they killed that for me.
But I remember when we were in high school, I guess. And I remember I was like so into the hills. And then the last episode, they pan out and they're in a studio lot. I was like, wait a minute. I'm naive. Is this real or not?
Yeah. Things that we gotta know. Answers we need.
Somebody MTV, tell us.
Your favorite interview that you've done of all time?
Oh my gosh. So many. I can say that I have pretty much interviewed everybody that's been on my bucket list, but my all-time favorite one that really truly felt like I connected with her like on another level was I want to say 2 of them.
Let's do it. It's okay.
Okay. There's a boy and a girl. One was Sebastian Yatra, because I have followed his career for a very long time. I've been covering people from like 2016 when I started at Entertainment Tonight, and I was one of the only Latinas in the newsroom. So they sent me everywhere, girl. They were like, you're the only one that speaks Spanish. Go to Latin Grammys, go to Coachella, go to Latin Billboard, like cover all of this. So when I finally had the privilege to interview Yatra again last year, it was like he felt like I knew him. He's like, wow, like you actually know me. You're not just asking whatever questions. And then my second one, my girl, my prima, my Mexican American, my pocha, Becky G. I love Becky G through and through. I have interviewed her throughout the years. And again, it's also really nice to see her grow in this industry, grow as a woman, see how she battles just everything, whether it's personal, professional. I love to see her grow, and her voice and what she represents as a Latina in the US, but more personally as a Mexican American from Los Angeles. She always talks about her hometown of Inglewood, which if you guys don't know, Inglewood is a predominantly, you know, low income community with a lot of Latinos, a lot of Black people. And now in Los Angeles, Inglewood is going through like a gentrification era where they have like the new SoFi Stadium, they have the new Clippers and like all this stuff that me as a LA native, every time I fly into LA, I see the gentrification. I see these new high rises in Inglewood, which it wasn't there. So what I love about Becky G is that she uses her platform obviously to entertain, to sing, to act, but she's also like, these are my people and this is home.
Amazing. Okay, so let's get right into our conversation. I feel like where I really resonate with you is our lives are go, go, go. And I feel like when you're working in media, there's so much of that. Where you are in your life right now, when someone's like commending your hustle and like how you're go, 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 how does that feel to you? Because I feel like I had reached the point where it's like, now I'm like,
yeah, you see it, but you didn't live through it.
Yeah. So how are you feeling currently right now?
You know, it's like it's a battle between wanting to be like, oh my God, thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. But it's also like did I do enough?
Yeah.
Like, am I still doing enough?
Yeah.
Like it sucks because they say imposter syndrome is real. Imposter syndrome is real.
It's
continuous. It's like I have a really big project coming up in 2 weeks that I have yet to share. But I'm in these meetings and I'm like, holy crap. Like me, like a first generation Mexican American from little Palmdale, California, shout out to my hometown. For real, you know, como que te quedas como que, es en serio. Me escogieron a mí, de todas las latinas reporteras que tienen, me.
Believe it.
It's like, you have to really believe yourself. And so when people commend us, they're like, oh my God, and congrats. And it's just kind of like, yeah, I've really worked hard to be where I'm at. And I think what most people seem, I don't know why this is like a misconception, but because I have worked for Entertainment Tonight, because I started off at E! News, then I moved to Miami, did Telemundo, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. People sometimes think that I have connections in the industry or that I come from wealth or that I just had a tío or a tía or someone in this industry. And it's like, no, like I always knew what I wanted to do and I never looked back.
Yeah.
I never looked back.
People always assume that I have all these crazy connections and someone helped me get through the door. And I'm like, I've had to knock down every door.
Exactly.
I had to knock every door down.
And we had to repitch yourself and repitch yourself.
Not even knock. I had to like
girl
slam doors down to like get in.
And here you are.
Yeah.
And here you are. It speaks
volume.
And
here you are too.
It speaks volume to everything we've done.
So we've had this conversation about like going through things and we'll get a little deeper into like the things that we're currently going through. But like, how do you mentally separate like Grecia the professional and Grecia like the personal?
Okay, so I basically, thankfully, which is crazy enough, but I always joke that I have like the Hannah Montana life because professionally, my world has become Miami, as you know, but home for me is Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So when I do go home, that I do go back home for a few projects here and there, I disconnect. Like I'm there, I'm with my abuela, my sister, my niece, my mom, my dad. And funny enough, I'm only known academically and professionally as Grecia, but my middle name is Samantha. So when you're around my family, I go by Samantha.
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh, viene Samantha.
Yeah.
Oh, ¿dónde está Samantha? Oh, Sammy, Sam. So growing up, since I was little, honestly, growing up in high school, I remember my best friends would come over to the house. And my mom, naturally, my sisters, Sam, Samantha, Sammy. They'd be like, who the F is Samantha? I'm like, me. Yeah. I'm like, that's what they call me at home. So how I disconnect is just like turning into Samantha, turning into like my inner child. Like, is this really what I want? And I think more now than ever, when I make these decisions of like saying yes to a specific project or going to an event, because, you know, we get invited to all these things, it's like, am I going for vanity reasons because I want to be seen? Or am I going because, oh my God, this actually excites me. Like this actually makes my inner child glow.
Yeah. I love that you said that because I feel like that's been my biggest thing the last 2 years of like, what is the return on like, what am I just flying? Because I used to take every opportunity. It's like, of course I'm going to get on a plane and like go, but now I'm like, what am I getting out of this? Is there like a return on like what I consider success, or is it actually going to make me happy versus going to something that I just feels like it's taking from my cup versus filling it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's what I went through, honestly, too. I would say yes to every opportunity. I would say yes to every press trip. I would say, hey, Monday I have an event, Tuesday there's a premiere, Wednesday there's a screening. Yes, 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 yes. And then I would go home and I feel depleted.
Yes.
So then now it's kind of like making more conscious choices. Like, what's the ROI here?
Yes.
Am I happy here? Am I around people that fill my cup too, like you said? So it's more so being more consciously choosy now versus when you're early 20s and your mid 20s and you're like, I want to do this. I'm growing. You say yes to everything.
Yeah.
Now it's being more choosy with where I want to put my energy and where I physically want to be at, to be honest.
That too. It could be exhausting. And I know it sounds like a first world problem. Like, oh, I'm being invited to places and I'm choosing and it's exhausting. But yeah, it can be.
And you never know, because sometimes it's like I say no to things and then I'm like, dang, maybe I should have gone, because maybe it would have been the perfect opportunity to network to like my next gig, especially coming from like the corporate world to now being a full-time freelancer. It's like, if I don't put myself out there, if I didn't go to these events, if I didn't go to these dinners, oh my God, the beauty event that you and I went to, where I was like, oh, you and I were like, we don't really know if we wanted to come, but you know, we're here, we're going to smile, have dinner, network. And then thanks to that, then you introduced me to the editor for New Beauty. And then I got to write an artitle for them. So it's like,
you never know what door is going to open.
It's like key moments like that where you're like, this is why I came. Or like, cool.
Exactly. And
like,
then you fear like if you don't go, then you just miss like this door.
Because in our world, it's like, if you're not seen, you're forgotten.
Yeah.
And it's like a battle, and it's like a love-hate. It's like, you know, nowadays working as a journalist, you have to, you know, post on social media and have like a following on the digital space, versus when we were studying journalism, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have Snapchat. Maybe Snapchat was like a thing. Yeah, it was. But now it's so important. Yeah, but now, I mean, I know.
Back then.
I haven't even used Snapchat in a while.
Yeah.
But now it's like, it's so important when you do go after these opportunities. They ask you, okay, well, what's your following? What is your engagement? Like, what are these things? And you're like, oh my gosh, when I studied journalism to be a reporter, I didn't know these things.
You have to just share clips.
Yeah, it was just like, here's my reel. This is me reporting. This is who I am. And now it's like personality and everything, which I am still going through the motions of accepting this creator journalism world, because I get opportunities, but then they want to see numbers and they want to see stuff. So it's like, I have to continue posting. Even if the interview is super old, you have to share it, because you never know. Just like your one random clip can go viral. Yeah. And then that'll lead you to your next opportunity.
It's like the same thing about leaving the house for an event. It's like, if I don't post this one clip and it's not caught by somebody, then you don't know who's
it's
watching.
Like, and it's like that imposter syndrome where you're like, okay, if I post this interview with said artist, who cares? Yeah. Someone's going to care. Someone's going to watch
Everyone's watching.
Everyone's watching.
Everyone's watching.
They might not be liking. They might not be double posting. They might not be commenting engagement, but they know everything.
Wait. Let's quickly go into this, because I'm like, what does it cost you to like?
For me, nothing. There are people that are super stingy with their likes and their comments on socials. And
I will say there was a time where I was doing that unaware that I was doing that, because I used to just scroll. Like I had this bad habit of just scrolling. And I'm like, it cost me nothing to just.
It cost nothing.
It caught me because I saw a TikTok or a reel where someone was talking about that. And I was like, wait, I do that. And I caught myself where it was just like, but it was like mindless scrolling versus like, let me mindless scroll and click at the same time.
I think for me, I have always showed love. I can confidently say like I have always shown love and liked and commented on people's things, whether I've met them in person or not. More so because as a creator in this creator space, I know that one like can lead you to your next thing. Yes. But even if they're not a creator, it's like, oh, hey, cool. Like that was dope. Like, oh my, that's cool. Yeah. Leave an emoji, leave something. Yeah. And so when it says like, oh, you get more support from strangers on the internet that you haven't met than your own circle sometimes, it's like, ¿para qué les digo? Yeah. You guys know. If you know, you know. Yeah. But you know
if I see a branded op, I am liking it.
Yes.
Each and every time. I'm like, girl, get that money.
Yes. Or I just leave a comment like, that's yummy. Yeah. Like, can't wait to try it. Let me see. I'm going to order now. Right? Because it's like you want to feel accepted, seen, or like cool, like people like this content, or like I got this brand deal for a reason. It resonates with my audience somehow, some way. But funny enough, there's TikToks that come on your feed that are like if they were your friend, they would like. If they were your friend, they would support. And so I just started like reposting, like not silent reposting. I was loud reposting multiple. And now all my friends are
Again.
I'm like, see, if the shoe fits.
Sometimes all you need is the reality check. Because again, I was like, there's like this fly.
All good. And left.
There's like, again, you have that mind, like you're just kind of mindlessly like scrolling, and sometimes you just need that reminder. Sometimes I do think there are people who like just don't notice, but there are people who are
know. Like if they know, they know. They know.
Yeah.
But
and as you said, if the shoe fits.
If the shoe fits, all right, send her away. Share away.
So you started being more honest about a journey of yours on social media. And I wanted to talk to you about that because I've been honest too on the podcast. I haven't gotten too deep on it here, but I have mentioned it several times on infertility. And when we asked you, you're like, what do you want to talk about on the podcast, as we do with all guests? This was something that was something you wanted to put out there and speak about more. And I am seeing more posts from you. So where are you with this journey? Like, why is it important for you to speak on this now?
Oof, it's been a long journey. It's been 15 years and counting, because it's going to be forever. I found out I was infertile when I was 15, 16. I found out randomly. It was more so like the syndrome is called MRKH, and it's when women are born without a uterus or a very, very small underdeveloped uterus. But since it's your internal reproductive system, you aren't aware that you don't have a fully functioning uterus until you have to go through puberty. So it was like a teenager. I'm in high school. I'm taking health class. All my close girlfriends are getting their first period, and everyone's like, oh my God. Because like you remember when you got your first period. It was like, it's like that pivotal moment in womanhood that I was like, where is it? It was just a question of, why am I not getting a period? And so I got a pelvic ultrasound, and that's where all the answers were. It was that my uterus was underdeveloped and it was just very small. And so naturally I will not be able to conceive. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is a lot of information to take in. Mind you, I'm finishing high school, going into college, having a baby is not on my radar. I could care less. But it was always like, the time will come when I will care. Yeah. The time is now. Now I'm 30. I have a very serious relationship, and it's kind of like we have those conversations. And so it was part of like, when I do want to start dating and find love, I have to be honest. Yeah. You know, it's not something that I will lie to a guy that falls in love and is like, hey, by the way, I know we're about to get married, but can't conceive. It's like, what? Yeah. So I've always been brutally honest about it. And I used to have a YouTube channel where I talked about infertility and my specific syndrome, and it was called Born Without a Uterus. But this was like circa 2013, 2014, when you didn't really see journalists have their own personality. This is when you're in journalism school and people are telling you like, you have to be neutral. You can't really show too much of your personal life. You're a reporter. Act like a reporter. Nowadays, people get hired.
It's like put it all out there now.
To put it all out there. Yeah. So that's why I stopped making those videos, because I had a mentor in college that was like, I understand you're passionate about this. And the videos were 13,000, 10,000 subscribers. But is this what you want to be known for? So it's kind of like, it stayed in my head like, oh, no, I want to be known to be a voice of reason in the Latino community and a reporter. But now at 30, it's like, okay, I've already done everything I've wanted to do. I've interviewed everybody that I've ever wanted to. I've hosted, I've reported, I've traveled. What is going to make me happy? Like, what type of content is going to make me happy? Infertility. So I feel like I'm in those baby steps of me mentally getting ready to finally start like a small limited series and see how it does. But there's still like that still little piece of me that is like, that's super vulnerable. Yeah. Like super vulnerable.
What was the day that can you take us back to that moment where you were like, I'm ready to speak on this? Was it an exact moment? Was it like a slow burn?
Recently it was more so, so when I found out that I was infertile, I kind of just like pushed the baby that to the very, very back of my head. Didn't even think twice about it. And so I dug myself into my career. That's why I was always like, next internship, next project. Where do you need me to fly? Like I just dug myself into work. And I think that's 100% my motivation. It was like running from my own feelings of how do you really feel? Yeah. And so now with my boyfriend, which you've met, and he's an angel. Shout out to my babes.
He's great.
He's so nice. I met him too, and I was like, hey, I really like you, but I don't want kids. And he was like, you don't want kids? What do you mean? Why? And I was like, I don't need to give you an explanation. I just don't want kids. So if you want to continue dating, great. Si no, nice to meet you. Dinner was great. But he was like, okay, well, if you don't want kids, then he literally said, if you don't want kids, then I don't want kids. And I was like, wait. Okay. So months go by. We're getting pretty serious. And then one night he's like, let's talk about this kid situation. Okay. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't want to argue about it. He's like, no, argue. But I'm trying to understand the root of why you don't want kids. So then I explained to him and he's just like, he literally left me in tears that night because he said, so basically what you're telling me is you have conditioned yourself to say you don't want kids. Not because you don't want kids, but because you can't have kids. So you've mentally convinced yourself you don't want kids. Yeah. And when I tell you, I was like, oh my God.
That's a partner.
I was like, I had never, not me about to cry. I was like, I had never really thought about it that way. I just always told myself like, you're not going to have kids. Like, it's okay. You've accepted it. But for him to really take his time to digest it and say, it's not that you don't want to have kids. Yeah. You want to have kids. Just because you can't, you've mentally convinced yourself you don't want kids. Yeah. So now it's like, okay, thank you for breaking down that wall that I didn't even know I had. And so now he's European. So now he's like sending me what it would cost to potentially have a kid in Europe. And it's significantly less than what it is in the US. So it's really nice to have a partner that is supportive in that sense. And I think him breaking down that wall made me be like, okay, I think you're ready to start talking about it again. Yeah. Now that you have a bigger following, now that you have a bigger, I don't want to say credibility, but really credibility as a reporter, as a journalist, it's like, okay, this is my niche. Because after all, in this creator space, it's like, do I want to continue being known as for like interviews and hosting? And while for sure, yes, that's what I love and it's my passion. But I also want to make sure that I educate people with the content that they consume from me.
I think there's now like this level of, I think we were always told to stay in one lane. You want to become an expert in one thing. And what we're finally seeing, and now you talking about this, is like, you can talk about different things and still be just as passionate about each thing. Like just because you're going to speak about, like you're saying in 2013, that wasn't common. But like now we're seeing that someone can speak about infertility and also go interview a major music artist the next day. And like, it should, like, that's why community is so important. I feel like now you're bringing your community into that part of your life and like the real ones are going to stay. Because I remember I was so worried about posting certain things and someone sent me the longest DM and it was like what I needed to read in that moment, where they were like, the right followers will stay. Like, don't be worried about losing. Because I was so fixated on like, oh, every time I post about something, because I remember the first infertility post I ever, like where I revealed what I had been going through, I lost followers with that post.
Really?
And I was like, yeah. And it was the first time I had ever been vulnerable on social media. And I was like, like, oh my God, I can't post this ever again.
It's a mind.
Yeah. Because it's like, I always shared the wins and the wins and the wins and the wins. And that was like what my Instagram became all about. And this was the first time that I became vulnerable. And to see that you're losing all these followers, you're like, okay, let's never do that again. And but it's like, no, like, the right people are going to find you and resonate with this and want to follow you on the highs and lows. And that's the audience that you want. And you just shared something about Latinas and infertility.
Yes. So in my knowledge of infertility brain that I know so much of, I go through these like articles and I just read up on what's going on. And so I learned that Latinas had the highest fertility rate from 2021 to 2023 with 64.4%. And in the recent news, in the recent months, like the fertility rate in the US is declining, and their Latinas are the ones that are having the babies, you know, keeping the fertility rate afloat. And then after the Latinas, it was the Black women, and then it was white women. But it's just crazy because it's like, in this current political climate in this country, here are the women of color continuing to keep the fertility rate above.
Yeah. And these are things that we are learning as we go. And that's why it's so important to share, because as you're saying, in this climate, now we're hearing this from you and the contributions, but also the things that our communities are facing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was shocked.
Yeah.
It was like, I didn't know that Latinos were this fertile.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. So I posted on Instagram. I was like, if you're Latina and you had a baby or you're pregnant, congratulations. Like, you're keeping the fertility rate above.
So what do you wish people understood about sharing something so personal online?
I think more so, I think just people having to just have more grace with people, because at the end of the day, you honestly, you don't really know what anyone's going through, and you don't know what it took, the mental strength it took for someone to use their voice and share something so personal, which I'm sure it was very hard for you to also make your video where you shared, like, I've been trying to get to conceive and it hasn't been easy. And I loathe, like, I can't wait. It's weird to know that, like, I will never pee on a stick ever. Like, I will never have that feeling of like, I'm pregnant, or like, oh my God, it's my baby shower, or like stuff like that. So when my little sister got pregnant, funny enough, let me say this though, because I'm like, okay, well, maybe I do want kids. Maybe it's just because I can't get pregnant that I've convinced myself I don't want kids. So my sister, she's like, I'm pregnant. I was like, oh my God. The moment I hold my niece, I'm gonna know. Like, if the moment I hold that baby, I will know. And I held the baby and I was like, damn, I do want to be a mom. Like, so shout out to my niece. You'll see this when you're older. She just
yeah. And it's those moments. I think there's like, because it's every journey is so different. I feel like for me, it was that, like, I realized I'm never gonna have that, you know, when someone's like, I think I might be pregnant. It's like, or like that kind of shock value of like seeing a test. Like now it's like, now we're taking the steps to like put the baby in me. So it's like, I'm never gonna have that moment of like shock or surprise. It's like, I know it's coming planned. And it's like, there's levels of like different grief, like you grieving like I can't carry, and like for other women like myself, it's like the grief of like never having that spontaneity or that surprise factor you think about. And I actually want to go back to something, because I think it's so important to talk about. I was thinking about this the other day, partners in this. And it's like, we're not here to say that our partners are perfect and our relationships are perfect, but I do think it's so important to have the right support, because truly, 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 I have never been more grateful for my partner than what I'm going through now. And I think like when the advice that I give people now is like, think about moments like this. And I don't hope this for anyone, but we're going to go through grief in our life in different ways, whether it's losing someone or discovering something that's negative to us or a realization. And the right person and your person is going to have moments where like your partner, he like held up a mirror for you in such a big way. And my partner was like accepting of this season. And my season has been like years. So it's like not thinking like, oh, I could deal with someone's worst for a day or two. Oh, I can deal with her being grumpy for a week when she's on her period. It's like, no, someone might have grief, like losing a parent, and that goes on for years, for life, where it's up and down and these waves of things. And I think like, I love that you brought out what he provided for you, because I think that's something for someone to take away from this interview as well.
100%. And choosing the right person to build a life with, to be your partner, is so important. And I've talked about this before, and I was in a 7-year relationship, and at first he would say he didn't care, like, we'll figure it out. And then towards the end of the relationship, he would say like, well, that's a reason why I just can't marry. Like, I just can't. And I'm like, 7 years? I'm like, what? Like, what the heck? I wish him the best. I hope he's also found peace and love. And it's just like a realization, like, he just wasn't my person. And so to now have the unconditional support of my now partner is just like, you know, you just have to figure out how your partner shows up in these moments where you're like, I can do this myself, but I don't want to. So to have such top tier men in our life that
I
help us.
know. I'm like, are we gonna start crying over our men? They don't deserve.
I'm like, they're so
They deserve it
nice.
all. They
They're
deserve
so
it all.
great. They're so great.
They're
But
so
yeah,
great. Yeah, but that's why
super
it's so important. It's like when someone's like, "Oh, what's your advice?" I'm like, like it's great to find like someone that you're passionate with and have so much fun with. And I hear people like, "Oh, he's so fun," or "She's so fun," and like they bring out the little kid in me and these things, and that's great. And you need that too. But you also need someone like, how are they when you're at your lowest? And like, are they giving that low like a timeline?
How do they react to when you're when you're not this like
100%.
when you're not like on camera, when you're not this, you know, how
when
do
you're
they
not
react?
like at 100, and like, are they okay carrying the rest of the 100% for you? And like, you're at a 40, and that happens with couples as well. But like, sometimes it can go low.
Consideration is key. Consideration is
you
key.
You can be at your lowest.
Someone reached out recently because the women that are born with this syndrome that I have, you can know as young as 8, 9 years old. And this mother reached out to me on Instagram the other day. She said, "Hi, my daughter is 10. We just found out that she has this syndrome. You know, like what advice as a mom can you give me?" And at first I was like, do I have the right to tell her how to react as a mom? Because I'm not a mom. And so I asked my mom, I said, "Hey, like, what should I tell this lady? Because she's asking for advice as a mom." Which fun. Oh, let me say this. It's hard enough being infertile. It's hard enough being an infertile Latina. It's hard enough being an infertile Latina coming from a Catholic family that whose abuelita dice, hay que rezarle a Dios. Hay que rezarle a Dios. No te preocupes. Dios se encargará. And it's like, lady, I love you to death, but God is not going to automatically give me a uterus. Like, you just have to accept.
Sometimes science is.
You just have to accept that, you know, maybe I am the granddaughter that just doesn't have a baby, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's more so, it's like a struggle with my grandma all the time because she's like, "¿Y cómo vas? ¿Y cómo vas?" I'm like, there's no update. There's no, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. So that's also a struggle of like when you're Latina coming from a very Catholic religious family that they're like, ponlo en Dios, ponlo en Dios. And it's like, lady, okay.
To close out the convo, what are you most proud of and how you've moved through all of this?
Okay, that's a good question. Let me simmer on that. What am I most proud of how I moved? Honestly, I think just authenticity. Like authenticity. I've never really shied away from my own story. Whether it's every internship, every job that I've had, now more so personally sharing this side of me. Because like you said earlier, all we do is like post our wins sometimes, that it can be like, oh, okay, there she is, another interview, another event, another brand deal. It's like, yeah, but also I'm human and I'm going through things. So I think I'm mostly proud of always being authentically myself. And if it resonates, it resonates.
What's next?
Oh, I guess I can say, oh my God. So if you watch Hulu, I will be hosting something for 4 days in 2 weeks. So it's going to be a really big live stream project that I have coming up, and hopefully more comes out of that. But I'm excited.
We can't wait. That's so exciting.
On freaking Hulu. I know. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. But
well
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're so excited. And we're so excited to see what comes for you next.
Thank you.
And thank you for being vulnerable here and sharing so much of you. So we end every interview with what's on your mind, because I always share at the beginning of the episode what's on my mind. So what's been consuming you? It could be pop culture. It could be a deep thought. It could be a random thought.
Me?
Like, what have you been thinking about?
Oh my God. Honestly, what's been eating my brain this week is, it's kind of somber.
No, go for it.
Okay, it's kind of somber, but I had a Theo commit suicide on Wednesday, which is sorry. It's very deep. It's very somber. So on my mind, it's been more so like, let me reach out to my people, really, really see how they're doing. Not just like your typical like, hey, how are you? No, like, how are you really? Yeah. And so like, if you ever feel like you're at that level, like call someone. It's not the answer. You can figure it out, help you out of your depression hole. But that has definitely been on my mind. I have personally never been affected by somebody that off themselves. And so now it's kind of just like, it's hit a wave of like, this actually happens to people. And so honestly, yeah, had to be honest. That's what was on my mind.
We want
that
honesty.
was on my mind.
This is all about what's actually on your mind.
I'm like, I could lie and say, okay, that it's Friday.
We don't want lies here. And I'm so
like,
sorry for your loss.
Happens.
And thank you for sharing that and speaking to that, because it is an important subject. So,
yeah. Don't do it. There's always an answer. There's a way out.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being here. And again, for being vulnerable, sharing, and we have to have you back to like, I can talk about this for like hours on end.
Yeah, because we know so much. And there's a missing niche of Latinas talking about infertility. Yeah. And everything that we know.
And the knowledge overload too. Yes. Like there's so much weight. Like I've cried leaving appointments because I'm just so much is poured on me and my head just feels heavy because you're just like, I just took in so much and they're throwing all these medications at you in different milligrams and you're like,
oh my God, yes. And what does this mean? And this embryo is a 6, but then this one is a 5, but then what does this mean? Okay, and then they measure your eggs. Okay, this one is, and you're like, what is going on?
So thank you. And thank you for using the space to speak on such an important subject.
Of course, here down to the T.
Yeah. Hey. And thank you everyone for watching. Stay tuned. Down to a T.